Hey guys, John Wooten here, super excited because what I've got behind me is the coolest thing I've seen like all day. It's amazing. So we've got this awesome timeline, and they've got like a TV here with CNBC on. They're just looking at stocks. This whole hall is all about stocks. You know what's right behind me? It's the craziest thing. A freaking trading room. They've got computers after computer after computer, and there are rows and rows and rows and rows. It's just computers. It's so cool. And look here, they've got this awesome, huge timeline. But you know what's really absolutely insane? It's this huge trading floor. Massive collection of computers. And those computers are awesome. Those computers are going to be 10s, 20, 40 people every single day on the market, trading Wall Street. Super cool stuff. And behind me, what they've got is this education, right? So this is a college campus. They've got all this awesome education, looking at the full history of the stocks. I mean, it's so much fun. I love it. There's so much here. They talk about how the exchanges were founded, and this is going back from the present day to the past, right? So here are some of the older ways that tickers were, that computers were, how these stocks had prices. They were all mechanical. Everything was so much fun. But now they've got all these computers, right? So how did it get there, right? And they're looking at like the history of stocks, the history of these books, the history of this whole timeline of how these securities came to be a thing. Like, that's so cool. And as you start to get further and further back, you start to understand sort of the basics, the fundamentals, like why stocks came to be in the first place, right? Which is super important, because once you can understand the basics, once you can understand the principles, once you can understand the foundations of an asset market class or of stock market in general, you can use that as a way to leverage your understanding of the place so that you can have higher returns in the long run. It's so cool. There's some really cool stuff here, but the most important thing with it is that you use that as a way to increase the returns of your investments, right? So when you look at, they've got like light bulbs here, really old technology, and how they used this years and years ago to like actually start the markets. And they got bulls and they got bears. But the important thing is, like, you don't have to understand all of this history. It doesn't matter. You start today and you can start trading immediately. You don't have to understand everything in the past. Everything in the past is awesome. You can learn some really cool principles. But the amazing thing is, like, you don't even need CNBC. Like, you can just get on a computer, open up a desktop. Like, there are like probably a couple hundred computers in that room. You don't need a couple hundred computers. You need one computer with like 1 or 2 monitors. And you get out there in the marketplace, in the modern market, as they call it, and all of a sudden you're able to control a financial asset. You're able to control an asset class. You're able to control your financial future by forging a portfolio that you can use to trade and grow. And it's so insanely cool. And the best part is, right, like, it doesn't take a whole textbook of information to get started, right? All you do is you pull up a brokerage account and you push the buy button after you deposited some cash, and then bam, you're a shareholder. You can be part of, like IBM, right? Their company, here's what they used to look like long time ago. You don't have to actually like understand that stuff to own their stock. You don't have to understand that to have a fractional share of their underlying company, the underlying assets. Such a powerful position to be in. Like, here's a really great example too. They have this really old Dow Jones Wall Street Journal newsstand. It's so cool. And it's like talking about a company with news and trust, and oh my God, as the American financial market emerges, it's the coolest thing ever. But like, you don't have to, like, look at that. That's so old. That's printing out. Like, it's printing out this paper, and it's crazy outdated. Nowadays, you just pull up the Yahoo Finance app on your phone. You go yahoofinance.com or finance at Yahoo, whatever. You pull up a ticker, you look up a company, you find a stock, and then you just scroll down, and then the news is right there, right? You don't have to look at like these really old, dated ways of transferring information and communications, because the internet really opens it up to so many more people, and it's awesome stuff. Because now, instead of being, I feel like trapped is a bad word, but I mean, think about, how many graphs you can look at, how many charts you can look at, what technical skills you can use when you're trading based off of a thing where you like push in numbers and you have to keep punching in the numbers for when you're trading. Like, these guys didn't have charts. They didn't have technical analysis. They didn't have all these amazing, just incredible tools of financial markets today. Like, what they had at a very rudimentary and fundamental level was information transfer through the telegraph, and then the stock market, bull and bear, right? It was like, do you guys think the stock is going to go up or not? And then if they were right, they would have these massive mechanical machines. These mechanical machines would spit out these numbers, and it's not like they were charting all these numbers all at once, right? Like, you just couldn't do that at the time. It was such a more bare bones, fundamental approach to stock market investing. There wasn't that high speed, high action, and it really established that foundational principle of the stock market here to create real savings and retirements. You can use these machines that spit out numbers to actually grow your wealth over time, and not necessarily game it really hard, but actually accrue that long-term wealth. And then as the technology improves, right? If you look at all these tickers flying through over and over and over, I think that's awesome. It's so cool. There's so much more information you can process now, but it all starts at those fundamentals. It all starts with the history. It all starts with the basics before you get to the trading room, right? Because you have to understand, you don't have to understand it, but it's been established, right? So the market is a consensus. Everyone agrees that these assets are of value and understands how to value those assets through past performance, through past experience, through the historic development of financial markets, right? So I think it talks about, it starts how the stock market came up, how these different sectors emerge. These are some awesome sectors, and then how those sectors came to be in a world of finance, how these brokers, how these bankers, how these investment managers, how they actually took a theoretical, right? Andrew Graham Bell, first voice message, that was huge for communication, and they show how that actually, in a crazy current world of communication, now you're at this whole new level where instead of just looking at machines all day, instead of looking at these boxes, now we have this crazy world where you can actually have roomfuls of computers, right? Rows and rows of these things. They got giant plasma TVs on the wall with these stock tickers. They have TVs in the ceiling with stock tickers. It's so cool. And you can use that now to have these insanely outperforming results. So historically, right, you had to wait months or weeks, or honestly, you had to pick up a phone, you had to telegraph people. That took so much time to get an order in, and to think how much time it took to actually analyze a company, see the history of a stock price. I mean, if you're getting information transmitted on this little sliver of paper, that's not easy. It's really not that easy, and it's difficult to understand the history of the financials, or the financials even at the current time period. And when you look at even this really decently old stuff, they had walls and walls of prices. You had to be at Wall Street to understand, how the market was doing. You had to be at Wall Street to get a sense of pricing, get a sense of valuations. And that sucked, because that blocked a lot of people. A lot of very small percentage of people are at Wall Street. A very small percentage of people have the financial means to have ginormous rooms dedicated to trading. And they can constantly be on the phone with their broker figuring out the price of an underlying asset, and then trading in quarter, eighth increments, right? I don't know, I think these started in quarters, they went to eighths. I guess it depended on the stock price, but it was super cool, because now you have this insanely new world where you have the power of the computer, right? So these are personal computers, like a phone, or the TV, like a monitor with your actual desktop setup. And now all of a sudden, Wall Street can be in your living room. It's right there. You can have it right in front of you. It's such an insane change in the way people communicate, and the way that underlying assets are priced and valued in the marketplace. And it's so awesome, because it opens it up to so many more people. So now, literally anybody that has a mobile phone, right? You can download stock trading apps, like the Robinhood app, right? Link below, right? Awesome app that let you invest for free. Super cool stuff. You have a mobile phone, you download that application, and you can fill out your information, and they'll get you started immediately with a broker. How cool is that? And then instead of having to have this whole trading floor, all you need is the phone that you're on right now, or if you're on desktop, you just pull out your phone. You can do it on desktop too, whatever. But you use that as a tool to then go and create this portfolio, this investment in yourself, this investment in your future. And instead of having to have all these old, outdated tools, instead you just use your phone. You use what you have as a means to an end, right? So another thing I talk about a lot at 9 to noon is using Yahoo Finance. So you can use the Yahoo Finance app to actually, understand the technicals, which I talk about in part 2 of the book. Really important stuff that's going to tell you how to actually tell how a stock is going to move, because that's really how you make the most profit, is by predicting that movement through technical analysis, by understanding the charts, the things that we are so ridiculously lucky to have compared to the history of stock trading. And then you can link your brokerage account to Robinhood, and shabam, you're trading assets. It's the coolest thing in the whole world. And all you do is get started. It's so much easier to get started. You don't have to cut up silver coins and figure out, what percentage or what phone number to dial or what clicker on your Morse code thing to click in to get started. It's so much simple now. So simpler, and it's really valuable stuff. So hey guys, take this, get value from it. I hope you got a ton of value from it. This is an awesome timeline, but you don't need this. You just get started, take action, and you're gonna learn so much when you buy that first position. When you start that first investment, it'll change your life. Thanks guys, have a great day. See ya.